Devil will very evilous, very dangerous. Them not generous. This time is a perilous time, very dangerous time that we're living in. This time is a evilous time, very devious time that we're living in. This time is a serious time, God be with us, it's just the beginning. Yeah. This time is praying time, is the last days we're living in. It's like an onslaught, somewhat everywhere a gunshot. Yo, the killing won't stop. Onslaught, combat, nuclear bomb drop. Rumors of war and the rumors become fact. Children are disrespect them parents, yeah, we burn that. Any man with this them mother, I don't spot. Me denounce that. My one son just text me and I tell me about my blood, what? This time is a perilous time, very dangerous time that we're living in. This time is a devious time, very evilous time that we're living in, yeah. This time is a serious time, God be with us, it's just the beginning. This time is praying time, is the last days we're living in. Happy hatred we face with, the girls them walking off naked, X-rated, sex-tainted, all the Jezebel spirit they blaze with. Me say righteousness is outdated, yeah, God and man is so separated. Kids in school getting intoxicated, school tuition just got wasted. This time is a perilous time, very dangerous time that we're living in. This time is a devious time, very evilous time that we're living in. This time is a serious time, God be with us, it's just the beginning. This time is a devious time, very evilous time that we're living in. Yo, we can't give up, we have to praise Jesus Christ from morning to evening, yo. Can't give in, well it's the last days we're living in, yo. Can't give up. Praise Jesus Christ from morning to evening, yo. Can't give in, it's the last days we're living in, yo. This time is a perilous time, dangerous time that we're living in. This time is a devious time, very. Devil will be bound for. Ooh, Satan, God Almighty, I gonna mash up your kingdom, yeah. Stay the kick up rumpus, for you find out you not have long. Satan, God Almighty, I gonna mash up your kingdom.
Put up the tune, put up the tune.
Devil will be bound for. Ooh, Satan, God Almighty, I gonna mash up your kingdom, yeah. Stay the kick up rumpus, for you find out you not have long. Satan, God Almighty, I gonna mash up your kingdom, yeah. Stay the kick up rumpus, for you find out you not have long. Satan, God Almighty, I gonna mash up your kingdom. Stay the kick up rumpus, for you find out you not have long. Satan, God
gonna mash up your kingdom, yeah. Stay the kick up rumpus, for you find out you not have long. Stop and sit back for a while and imagine a world without a devil. Soon we'll be in glory, God's people will be comfortable. Former things will be passed away, yeah. No more heartache, no more pain, no more shame. Oh yeah, Satan, God Almighty, I gonna mash up your kingdom. Stay the kick up rumpus, for you find out you not have long. Satan, God Almighty, I gonna mash up your kingdom. Stay the kick up rumpus, for you find out you not have long, yeah. Ooh, whoa, no. Devil will be bound, boy. Ooh, Satan will be bound, boy. Ooh, devil will be bound, be bound, be bound, be bound. Young people all over, we are the devil's target. So I'm saying to you, unless you repent, you shall likewise perish down. Don't let the devil use you and refuse you, cause there's a savior with his arms open wide. Oh yeah, Satan, God Almighty, I'm gonna show you kingdom.
A brand new world. We don't like the way the world is turning. Something inside is always yearning for a brand new world. People everywhere are so confused. Leaders don't know what to do. Oh, they want a brand new world. Though we make rockets to the moon and the stars, though we make ships that don't go very far, there's not a mountain that a man hasn't climbed, but a brand new world you can never find. So if you want a brand new world, you gotta have a brand new people. If you want a brand new people, you gotta have a brand new life. If you want a brand new life, you gotta have a brand new spirit. If you want a brand new spirit, you got to come to Jesus Christ. Yeah, yeah. A brand new world. A brand new world. People have tried all they could, but I really wonder if they would find themselves a brand new world. An old man sitting at the bar can't find what he's searching for. All he wants is a brand new world. A brand new world begins with me and you. May not find it in the things we do. Trust in Christ and He will see you through. A brand new world so pure and true. So if you want a brand new world, you gotta have a brand new people. If you want a brand new people, you gotta have a brand new life. If you want a brand new life, you gotta have a brand new spirit. If you want a brand new spirit, got to trust in Jesus Christ.
By His hands. Oh, Jah, 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 Jah in the highest, I call to you. Oh, Jah, 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 Jah in the highest, I call to you. Whoa, what does it profit a man to gain this world and lose his soul? When everything underneath the sun belongs to Him. Oh, yeah, yeah. Anything you need, run to Jehovah. Anything you facing, hand it over. Hills and the fruit bearing trees, I call to
Jah,
you.
Jah, I call. Oh,
Oh, Jah, 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 Jah in the highest, I call
Jah,
to you.
Jah, I call.
Oh, lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be lifted up, ye everlasting doors.
Oh,
Yeah, and the King of glory shall come in forevermore. Oh, make sure you get in heavenly treasures. Make sure you getting rid of earthly pleasures. Oh, Jah, 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 Jah in the highest, I call to
Jah,
you.
Jah, I call. Oh,
Oh, Jah, 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 Jah in the highest, I call to
Jah,
you.
Jah, I call.
Oh, the hills and the fruit-bearing trees declare him. Let mankind that was formed by his hands declare him. Oh, Jah, 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 Jah in the highest, I call to
Jah,
you.
Jah, I call.
Oh, what does it profit a man to gain this world and lose his soul? Everything under the sun
It all
belongs to him. Oh, anything you needed runs to Jehovah. Anything you're facing, hand it over. Oh, Jah, 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 Jah in the highest, I call to
Jah,
you.
Jah, I call. Oh,
Whoa.
Eminem again, yeah. The fireman again, yeah. Me tell them, hot already fire upon the Eden. Hot already fire upon the
Pull
weed.
up the tune. Pull up the tune.
Eminem again, yeah. The fireman again, yeah. Me tell them, hot already fire upon the Eden. Hot already fire upon the wicked. Hot already fire upon the wicked. Put up in the fire upon the Eden. Hot already fire on the Eden. Hot already fire on the Eden. Hot already fire upon the Eden. Me na sit with them, me na mix and blend.
Run!
Them want change the order of the Most High.
They can't! No!
Protect your kids cause they're coming after your child.
Oh,
The wicked system will enter the church now.
Woo!
But we are standing firm, we don't compromise.
What we say?
This a warfare time, we don't sit and blend with the wicked man. We not follow what's trending, we follow the word of the Most High God. Hot already fire
On
upon
the Eden them. Hot already fire upon the Eden them.
Hot already fire upon the Eden them. Me na sit with them, me na mix and blend. Hot already fire upon the Eden them. Hot already fire upon the wicked them. Hot already fire upon the Eden them. Me na sit with them, me na mix and blend. It's time to preach the gospel. Tell the people about the coming of the Father. Yes. He might come for your church who's spotless. Not a Jezebel slipping with the culture. Time to come out of the great Babylon. Spiritually you arise as a champion. Just remember the Father soon come. Judgment a come on the wicked and them. Them don't want your way. They don't want your it but still.
That's right. I think it's time I say good evening. Want to shout out Monica Brooks checking in early this evening. Hello, Monica. How are you? Want to say welcome also to Miss Jekyll Tucker. Haha. Miss Jekyll Tucker is now an award recipient of the Wayne Hall Show. Listen to me carrying on. All right, want to say a so good evening to Andrea Ashman out of Florida. Want to shout out JC, Jackie Carr. She's still up and brightly so, checking out the Wayne Hall Show this evening. Yeah, JC was at the party and she was having a blast. And let me tell you, JC's as south as they come, but she was all up in that Jamaican culture, y'all. Yeah, I saw her doing cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, dollar. And when she do the dollar, boy, she got a lot of money in that bank, I'm telling you. All right, Jackie, stop picking on you, right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the Wayne Hall Show. We are celebrating the celebration, right? You get it? We're celebrating the celebration. We worked hard. The team worked hard and we did it. We did what we set out to do. We wanted to do as close to as possible a model event that folks will leave and say, that's how they want to go out and enjoy themselves. And that's all we are hearing. Okay? That is all we are hearing. Someone called me and said, listen, I've gone to events and I've tried to and I've been able to just pick it apart, 5, 6 things. And I've just looked back at and we can't find anything. How did you do it? But by the grace of God, right? All right, Jackie, you got a lot of dollar bills? You thought I was funny. All right, cool. Curtis Clark, good evening. Welcome. Want to shout out King Tub, Chester Clark. Big shout out to the folks over there at Clark TV Network. Yes, man. Andrea Brown McNeish. Andrea, thanks for coming out. I saw you having a ball. Yep, the McNeish clan. They were having fun. Yes, King Tub, I hope me did pull it up for you. Sir Hall, huge up, keep shining. Peter Augustus, big up yourself. Jack L. Tucker say, yeah, man, big up Wayne. Yes, awesome, well-organized event. Kudos to the entire team. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, no man is an island. No man stands alone. And I think the blessing of Saturday night is I have some great people. I want to shout out Dr. Yvonne Smith checking us out, okay? All right, listen, the blessing is I had great people. They understood the vision. And I'm going to be honest, this is one of the reasons I didn't do anything before now. I didn't want to do any ordinary show. I didn't want to do any regular little, I wanted to do something that would stand out. And it was outstanding. And so I want to say big shout out to all the team. I tell you what, it's kind of a reflection mode right now because I've not been able to rest since because I went right back to work Monday morning. Yes, I love my autistic friends. And I actually had a meeting at 8:15 Monday morning. And I've been in school. So my in the last 72 hours, I've probably slept 12, 30, maybe in the teens at best. But I'm going to get my rest this weekend. I have one event I'm going to go that I'm going to tell you about later. At City Hall, the Sister Cities, the Atlanta Montego Bay Sister Cities Committee event. And I believe it's sold out, so too sad. But I'm going to go, and this guy needs some rest. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everyone who supported on Saturday. And even if you weren't in Atlanta and able to attend, I felt that love. That love was in the room. You hear me? That love was in the room. I'm telling you, that love was in the room. And I just appreciate all the love we got, man. It was great. And just can't say thank you enough. All right? I know this man is here checking us out this evening, and he's got a song that I like, and it goes like this.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Lord, we are hurting more than ever in this world that we live. We're living in the lost days when babies have been dead. We're living in the lost days when earthquake in diverse places. We're living in the lost days when the heart of man is survived. Hurting more than ever in this world that we live. Hurting more than ever in this world that we live. above the war down in Baghdad. Say there's a war fighting over in Afghanistan. And the same very war that lead right over to Libya. And the same very war wanna lead right over to the Western world. I know the same very war wanna lead right on to the Caribbean. So we all have to fight against this war. That's why I'm talking about the war down in Baghdad. Yes, I'm talking about the war down in Iraq. Hurting more than ever in this world that we live. Hurting more than ever in this world that we live. We need love, 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 love for the world. We need love, 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 love for boys and girls. We need love, 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 love for the world. We need love, 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 love for boys and girls. He said, Lord, have mercy upon the little one, upon the children, the children, the children, upon the children, the children, the children.
That's right, the sound of King Tub, Love for the World. And I told you, I felt the love the other night. The entire team, the decorations. Shout out to A-Sale Occasions, Lisa and the crew. Boy, that place was like nothing you'd ever seen walking in for the event. And I want to shout out Mr. Hugh Campbell and the Mellow Groove Band. They were not just the band on the stand. They were outstanding. They were amazing. I've never been to an event and so many people complimented the band. Oh my gosh. Everybody's talking about this band. Who's this band? They've been here. Where have you all been? Well, I knew it. I knew it. At the Wayne Hall Show event, the world was going to know and forever remember. And like I said in the introduction, you might never know of them before, but now you do. Mellow Groove Band for you. And did they deliver, boy? Mellow Groove. I got to shout out my MC. So last week we were talking about who the MC might be, right? We were talking about who the MC might be, and we said, you know what? I wasn't going to tell anybody. But then we all know now. The one, the only, Janice O'Shea, and she's going to be joining us later on to host the Saluting Woman 2023 edition right here on the Wayne Hall Show. I want to shout out my listeners on Linkage Radio 101.75, 104.5 FM, New York City. I want to welcome Hype FM, Clark TV Network. I want to welcome Viscosity Blend, Island Worldwide. Hours the Power of Love doing. The Sutherlands, top of the evening to you. We had a blast, okay? And you've been so supportive over there at Island Worldwide, man. I'm sorry you couldn't make it. My condolences to you and your family. But I hope all is getting better and that you can tolerate better. It's not like it's a cut that heals, right? It's a loss. So all the best with that. And then we have Reggae Vibes Radio. Yeah, Reggae Vibes got an award at the Wayne Hall Show anniversary event. They got an award for graciously being the home of the Wayne Hall Show for all these years. And rightfully so. There they go. The big logo on the screen. Reggae Vibes Radio. Yep, big up. Yard Flow TV. All right, big up Yard Flow. Energy Radio 1. Yes, indeed. YouChooseRadiocom.com. Fresh FM Radio. Mixcloud. Well, we're not on Mixcloud tonight. We're on Restream, YouTube, and theWayneHallShow.com. Thank you, everyone watching and everyone listening. I appreciate every one of you being here this evening. And it's going to be a great show. The women are going to totally dominate. Shout out again to all women. Reach around, pat yourselves on the back for what you do for the world. Not for the men, for the world. So, ladies, shout out to you. We're going to have a Saluting Woman event at 9 p.m. when 4 amazing women will join us on this platform to talk about their stories, which is the story of every woman. So don't miss that, ladies and gentlemen. We are 26 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Later on, I'm going to get into some clips just before we get up to 9 after Mr. Anthony Turner. We're going to get into some clips from the show because, and Maxine Lyons is going to pass through too. We're going to talk about her performance and more right here on the Wayne Hall Show. Because, man, that was a huge night. That was huge. So let me do this real quick.
What the world needs now is more than a vacation. We need to come back to feeling our best selves again. Back to inviting. Back to caring. Back to life. Back to the little bit of Jamaica that's inside all of us. Come back to being lively again. Back to laid back. Back to romantic. Back to fantastic. Come back to making the best decisions you've ever made. Because, hey, we're in Jamaica. Come back to mouth-watering, heart-pumping, breathtaking. It's time, don't you think? Come back to the vibe that comes alive in Jamaica.
Mikey Sparkle Production presents the Atlanta Caribbean Family Fun Day 2023, featuring reggae mega superstars Mikey Spice and Richie Stevens.
I've got a weakness for sweet.
Backed by the SWAT Band. Father's Day, June 18. Lithonia Amphitheater, 2515 Park Drive, Lithonia, Georgia, 30058. Sound by First Love, Steely Bashment, DJ Cold Rice, Bugsy Bam Bam, Rico Vibes, John Wayne, DJ Bree Bree, all on the ones and twos. MC Oliver Samuels, Jamaica's King of Comedy, and Oliver Mayer, Consul General. Also featuring Chub Rock and the Weekend Warriors. Bring your chairs and umbrellas to this family event. 18 and under free. Adults 50 pre-sold. More at the gate. Visit Mikey Sparkle online for tickets. Sponsors: Foundation Radio, T-Rob Network, Wayne Hall Show, Island Vibes TV, RockTheBox.net, 25th Century Radio, Golden Crust, Irie Zion FM, and The Flavor Radio, a Mikey Sparkle production.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you what, we got some more music leading up to Anthony Turner. He's going to be hot on the burner. Anthony coming through in few.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Gotta shout out Donovan and Donna Maria on this one.
My sweet little baby girl.
Hey!
You really, really rock my world. Anytime I see you smile, you make me wanna dream just like a little child. Yeah.
I like the way you look at me. You tickle my fantasy. Anytime you call my name, I feel it's real. It ain't no game.
'Cause I love you, and I need you, and I want you to know.
Yes!
When I touch you, and I hold you, I can't let you go. I wanna know what it feels like to spend my nights with you. To see that morning sunrise in your eyes come through. I wanna know what it feels like to kiss you every day. To hold you in my arms, come what may. Na 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 na. In my paradise with you, na na. It feels so nice with you, na 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 na. In my paradise with you, na 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 na. It feels so right with you. We're going on the town tonight to dinner by candlelight. I wanna show the world that you're mine. You look so good, you blow my mind.
I wanna be by your side. We're gonna walk down the aisle. In the sunset we'll fly away. I know it's gonna be, and that's okay.
'Cause I love you, and I need you, and I want you to know. When I touch you and I hold you, I can't let you go. I wanna know what it feels like to spend my nights with you, to see that morning sunrise
In your eyes so true.
I wanna know what it feels like to kiss you every day, to hold you in my arms, come what may.
Come on now. Na 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 na. Mr. Anthony Turner. Hey, Anthony, good evening. How you doing, my brother? Welcome. You're hot on the burner. Hold on. I need to figure out why am I not hearing Anthony. Let's see. Let's see why I'm not hearing Anthony. I think I caught why Anthony. Stand by. Stand by. Now let's do that again. Anthony, how are you?
Yeah, man, everything is great, man. You must be on cloud nine today, right?
Anthony,
Or from Saturday.
is there a cloud higher than 9? If
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
cloud,
yeah.
Anthony, I wish you were on Zoom or something, or you could be checking out the screen right now. Because, ladies and gentlemen, before Mr. Anthony Turner does his work, I want to say to Anthony, thank you for your awesome contributions to the world of entertainment and consistent reporting to the Wayne Hall Show, on the Wayne Hall Show,
Yeah,
2023.
yeah.
And Anthony, I'm holding it up. Let me see where my camera is. Let me see if I can. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. A wonderful piece of trophy hardware for Mr. Anthony Turner. A wonderful piece of hardware. He's gonna take that. He's gonna get this at some point, if it's even to wait until Grooving in the Park. But Mr. Anthony Turner, as I hold this up, I'm so sincere in my appreciation.
Wow.
We've moved around the times. We've tried different things, and man, you just stuck it through, and has been such an asset in terms of information on a platform where the motto is where information meets music. I sorry you couldn't be here in person to have received this Saturday night because you quite honestly missed the party of the year. But
Wow.
Anthony, thank you for everything. All right.
Yeah, man, it has been my pleasure, and I look forward to coming on every Wednesday to impart some information to folks. Hopefully, over the past 10 years, they've enjoyed it. It's been a great ride, and I know the best is yet to come. So,
Yes.
congratulations.
The best has begun. It's gonna come. Thank you, sir.
Yes, so I actually was my daughter is at Morgan State, so I actually had to be in Maryland over the weekend. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. But I saw some of the stuff online, and it seems like everybody had a grand time. So again, congratulations, my brother.
Thank you, man. Anthony, let me tell you, I'm not exaggerating, and it's not because it's my own event. It's the best one. When everybody calls and tell you they can't find anything wrong with the night, you gotta own it,
Wow.
man. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
push my head in the sand with this one. I'm claiming it, brother. That was the best
Wow.
party in our community in a long time.
Wow.
And I'm
Wow.
claiming it. I'm not gonna pretend and
Mhm.
act all too humble. I'm humble.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
truth is the
Yeah, man,
truth.
you have to
It was
feel
good.
good, man.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good.
Mhm.
So thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm here actually watching Boys and Girls Championship from Jamaica. It started, of course, yesterday. And it has been so far a humdinger. I just watched the class 4 girls 100 meters finals, and Immaculate Conceptive High School. They actually took the Quinella. Kayla Johnson just won, and another immaculate young lady, Kayla Brown. They actually being interviewed right now on One Spot Media, and she came in second. So they've actually done a lot of. It's actually Najee Brown, that's her name. Yeah, they've done a lot of changes to the Boys and Girls Championship. It actually starts on Tuesday, and I actually started watching it from about 10 a.m. yesterday, and it went on to probably close to 9 o'clock. And they've kind of spread the events out a lot more. So typically, the 100-meter finals would happen on a Friday night, And then, there are a number of other finals in the steel events that would happen on Friday. And then the big day, Saturday in Jamaica, of course. But they've changed it around. So there have been a few finals today. And as I said, right now we're in the 100-meter finals. So there are going to be 7 100-meter finals, starting with the Class 4 girls, Class 3, 2, and 1. Then that will culminate in the, all the girls 100 meters. Then it goes to the boys, Class 3. And you have the Class 3, 2, and 1 finals. And we just saw a record earlier in the semifinals in the 100 meters.
Wow.
A young man from Kingston College did 10.02 seconds in the 100 meters.
What?
And he's talking about going sub 10 for the first time in the history of any Jamaican high school athlete. Because the record
close.
he just... Yeah, man, they're that much close to the
Anthony, 10.02 is not no baby time. The
And
quarries
you're
of
talking
the
about
quarries
running
of this
to a
world were,
headwind.
the quarries of this
Running
world
into a
weren't
headwind.
running 10.2, 0.2.
10, they were like 10.9 or...
Yeah, they weren't running no 10.02. I remember when 10.4 was like lightning.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we're
MG.
talking about running into a headwind. So they're saying if there was no headwind, the time would probably be 10.01. And that's not even the interesting part. He started looking to his left and right with about 50 meters to go.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's not that he was just running through the tape.
You know,
mm.
we were talking one time to this. I was listening to this English guy one time, and he said, "I don't know what they do down there, but every time they take their cap off, another sprinter jumps out."
Wow. Well, let me tell you, the Boys and Girls Championship, in my opinion, is probably the second greatest athletics event in the history of athletics. I mean, there's no other, outside of the Olympic Games, I don't think there's anything to rival our high school athletics championship. And I would go one step further to say, if I was given a ticket to the next Olympic Games, I was given the choice of a ticket to the Olympics and a ticket to Boys and Girls Championship. You know where I'll be heading, Boys and Girls Championship.
No, it's special.
Because
it's a special event.
It
Very
is
special.
extra special. And
Yeah.
there was a young lady from Trinidad and Tobago that is actually in Jamaica observing the championship to go back to implement some of what they've seen in Jamaica. It is that important. You're talking about scouts from all over the US are in Jamaica right now, scouting for talents. To give,
Oh yeah. That's like going to the well, brother.
And the great thing about it, Wayne, is that not every athlete in Jamaica is looking to take up an athletic scholarship, because the program, you see, we've always, and I know you're a sportsman, so you'll understand what I'm talking about. There's a time when, we always had a great high school program, but there was a time when, every high school athlete in Jamaica had to go to pen relays to really try to get an athletic scholarship. No, athletes are choosing to stay in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily look into, because we never really had a program. Once the high school, you're done high school, there was never really a continuation program
Right.
to continue to groom our athletes. So they would have to go abroad. And then, the challenge is that they would overwork them at some of the universities and burn them out, so they never get to see their true potential. But then Dennis Johnson and some other coaches in Jamaica decided that they wanted to start their own track program in Jamaica and, give our athletes a real opportunity that they could stay home. They didn't have to be coming here to go to school. And, it has really transformed athletics. And that is part of the success that we've seen since 2008 with Usain Bolt, who stayed in Jamaica. Asafa Powell stayed in Jamaica. All of these athletes, decided to stay in Jamaica and to make Jamaica home to train there under, the different athletics clubs that you have there. And I think it's paying dividends in a big way. And I should tell you now, Wayne, is that high school athletes from all over the world are coming to Jamaica right now. There are tons of athletes from various parts of the Caribbean that are going to high schools in Jamaica. There are African athletes who are going to high schools in Jamaica. So to the point now that they're talking about, they may have to limit some of the athletes that come from out
Oh
of the
my
country.
goodness.
Because people are seeing that if you have an athlete who has any promise, then you may have to send them to Jamaica to build the program. And the beauty about Jamaica and Jamaican high schools are that there's equal focus placed on academics and being an athlete. So it's not that you just, you're an athlete and you're not focused on school. There's a lot of emphasis placed on doing well in both. And I mean, we're seeing better results, not just in the 100 and 200 meter, but in the 400 meter. I mean, today I saw 400 meter athletes going almost sub 46 seconds. We're doing well earlier tonight. There was I think a discus athlete who, I think it was either the shot putter or the discus. They were saying the times that they were throwing is at the international level, comparable to the best in the world. So yes, our program is really being expanded and the athletes are excelling. And I just had a discussion with somebody earlier today.
Yeah.
And I was saying to them that we may be at the point now where we need to have an academy, a sports academy, a high school sports academy, where the focus is on finding talents from way before they're teenagers. And the program is set up in such a way that the high schools are focused on academics first and athletics or football or whatever you do second. This would be a sports program that groom you exclusively to be an athlete. So whatever subjects you take, if you're doing biology, it would be biology with a focus on a sports program. If you're doing physics and, whatever subjects you're taking, it would be grooming you, just like how you have the Ivy League. You have the schools here that prepare the students for Ivy League colleges. It would be a sports college that groom our athletes to become the best they can be in all the different sports disciplines. And I think we're at that stage now where we could start contemplating something like that.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
Mhm.
It will be welcomed. Yes, sir. Yes.
But before I leave, I just want to say, boy, in terms of who will win champs, I think on the female end, we're going to see. I think I'm predicting that Edwin Allen will walk away with the trophy again.
Okay.
I will give them some challenge. But I think the depth of Edwin Allen in almost all of the track events and in the field events, they're going to definitely take the trophy. I think on the male side, the Mortimer Geddes trophy, I think it's going to come down between, it's always those big three, the Jamaica College, the Kingston College, and Calabar. But I'm predicting Kingston College will be able to sneak out a victory, followed by Jamaica College. And in third, I think Calabar will come third, with some good competition coming from St. Elizabeth Technical, who they're developing an excellent program there. And of course, St. Diego is always a contender in both the girls and boys championship. And I'm actually saying that maybe they should have a trophy that goes to the top co-ed school.
Yeah.
So they tabulate points for both male and female students. And the top co-ed school should have a special prize because St. Diego has consistently dominated,
Yeah.
So just
I
wanted to
know.
put that out there. So it's all
Good point.
sports
Good
tonight.
point. Good point. Good point. Yeah. Yes, sir. All right. Well, thank you,
man,
sir.
So all the best. And the start of another 10-year journey
Yes, man.
begins tonight, right?
Yes, sir. And you're on it with me
All right.
and a trophy.
All
Thank you,
right.
Anthony.
Thanks again.
Appreciate
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, brother.
Right with you. We're going on the town tonight to dinner by candlelight. I wanna show the world that you're mine. You look so good, you blow my mind.
I wanna be by your side. We're gonna walk down the aisle. In the sunset we'll fly away. I know it's gonna be, and that's okay.
Cause I love you, and I need you, and I want you to know. When I touch you, and I hold you, I can't let you go. I wanna know what it feels like to spend my nights with you. To see that morning sunrise in your eyes come through. I wanna know what it feels like to kiss you every day. To hold you in my arms, come what may. Na 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 na. In my paradise with you. Na 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 na. It feels so nice with you. Na 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 na. In my paradise with you. Na 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 na. It feels so right with you. I want you, I need you, forever. Girl, I love you, I'll never leave you, never, never, never. Na 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 na, na 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 na.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about Saturday night. Let me give you a little bit of a recap on Saturday night in terms of some action. All right. It really went well, like I said. All right. I tell you what, let me just go to that segment there and bring you some highlights. The band, a lot of people are saying how outstanding the band was. So let me start with that, all right? Let me go to the band.
So I never been someone's side until I see her eyes. I know I had to cry. Well, but it's a moment, everything I was right and then I'm wrong. Wanna feel like no money, so long to. You never have to cry. Well, I know anyone can relate to make them find a sense of someone. Be what am I doing?
All right. So, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A little snippet of Mellow Groove Band for you. They were awesome. They were just awesome. And I wish I could have played more for you. I honestly wish I could play more for you. But when I tell you that band was awesome. Dirty Dashes, Cameron Shernet, bless up, welcome. Welcome to everyone. The band was great. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let me see what else happened here. The band is not coming. I'm going to stop it. And then, all right, so when I tell you people were having a good time, look at Miss Jekyll. I've never seen her dance. Woo! Look at that. That's right. And when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen her dance. But what she's dancing to started with this. What she's dancing to started with this. once you bless it, remember that nothing can test it. All right. And I'm telling you, that was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who's on the line? Maxine Lyons, how are you?
I am doing pretty good, Wayne. Still I rub my knee from the dancing.
Maxine is still a rub your knee from the dancing.
And I'm serious, I'm not joking. I'm telling you, yesterday I was aching, Monday I was aching. But it was worth the while.
Let me
For
tell
you,
you.
anything.
Let me tell you, Maxine, I don't know who is not aching until now. Because listen, good food, awesome Max Poet, great band, and then dancing. People were just dancing. My goodness. Maxine, how you, other than rubbing your knees, man, how you feeling? I mean, how is post the event treating you?
Well, let me tell you something, Wayne and listeners. Good evening to everyone on the line, whether you're listening to Radio Land or on Facebook Live. If you didn't show up, you missed it all. I'm telling you, I don't think you can bring this again a second time the way this first one went. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was just off the chart, people. It was one of the best events I've ever really been to. Very organized, started on time, food, good people, dress up, the ambience, the decoration, that young lady did an awesome job. And your daughters were great. They're very pleasant, very nice young lady. Not to mention your wife. I'm telling you guys, she's a bubbly person. She's a bucket full of joy. I don't even know how to describe her right now. Michelle is a beautiful young lady. Yes, she is. You have a beautiful wife. Your family is just great. And the one thing I want to tell you, when you are totally loved, and I mean total in capital letters, it showed up in the decoration, in the food, it showed up in the speeches. You are just loved.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying this proudly. You are loved. And it came out in everything that happened on Saturday night. I am delighted, and I'm still flying high and still on top of the world, just being at your event and being able to perform on that stage. And I felt great. I enjoyed myself. I had fun, and we can't stop talking about it.
Awesome. I want to play a clip from your performance, because we got a big thing coming up in 5 minutes. So let me jump down here. You might not hear it, but the audience will be seeing it. So, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Check this out. I think I recognize the voice of the gentleman who was saying wheel. I think I recognize the person who said wheel when you went into Hot Flash and throw off the scarf, man.
Oh, God. The crowd erupted when I did that, because they weren't expecting that.
I know. We had to ask to wheel and come again.
It's funny because my husband said to me, Wayne, that I know you're running, but he said to me, when he saw me walk with his red scarf, he was wondering why I was wearing the scarf, because he never saw none of my performances, because all of that I practice upstairs, and he's downstairs when I'm practicing at night. So he never saw anything that I did. So when I was there, flinging off the scarf and fanning my armpit and fanning between my legs, he was cracking up, because he saw none of that. All of that was brand new to him, too.
Yes, it was truly amazing. And I just wanted you to touch base real quick, man. Thank you.
You're most welcome,
Thank you.
darling.
You delivered. And I hope
Thank you.
you have the infrastructure in place to deal with what happened to artists when them bust, you know?
I know. I know. Trust me, I got a lot of contacts, and I got a request right there. I got a request for August, somewhere there. Yeah.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Yeah. So
there you go.
it was worth the while.
Well,
More
thanks,
ways
man.
than one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You
You're
know,
welcome.
I
anytime.
really appreciate the effort you put into it. You sold tickets. You put up with me. You know, you understood the vision of what we were trying to deliver, and you did your part. And I'm proud and happy for you. And I hope you have a lot of success post Wayne Hall show. I want to be
Yeah.
able to come to a show, big show somewhere, and sit back and watch you and say, yeah, I remember when she performed
Amigos.
that, man.
I
No,
say, yeah, me broke
me
her
nah go
out.
say Amigos, yes, me nah have them the big chest. But let me play something before we go. And thank you so much for chiming in, Maxine. We're going to
You're
talk more
welcome.
at another
You're most
time.
welcome.
All
All right.
right?
Have a good evening.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, before we go, there's one more thing. This was when I was announced. All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, those were just some of the highlights. All right. Some of the highlights of what was truly an amazing, amazing night. And I'm telling you, I just wish I had a big, a whole stadium deserved to have been experiencing that. But hey, it's what it is. So thanks again to all who supported. Thank you, Maxine Lyons. We truly appreciate your performance. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1 minute before 9 p.m. And tonight we are going to have with us five amazing women, because the moderator is none other than Saturday night's MC, Miss Janice O'Shea. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to our sponsors, there were many. I want to say good evening and welcome to this segment of the show. I want to shout out some sponsors right now, and I'm going to start with Clark TV Network, Island Worldwide, Viscosity Blend, Caribbean International Shipping celebrating 30 years, Jammins Radio, big up yourself, You Choose Radio, big up yourself, Linkage Radio, Innovation. Also want to mention Energy Radio 1, Fresh FM Radio London, Offstage Pass, Firm Body Auto Repair, Firm Quality Body Repair, and also Power 102.1 FM, Spicy Hill Jamaican Restaurant. That's Spicy Hill Jamaican Restaurant. Thank you to Hype FM. Thank you to all my sponsors in the silver category. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to shout out to Yardflow TV, GMR Auto, the Jamaica Tourist Board. Also want to shout out Tranquility Wellness, Victoria Mutual Building Society. Want to shout out Reggae Vibes Radio and Azil's Occasions, who did the decorations. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to shout out sponsors, Zandra's Queendom Catering. That's right, Zandra's Queendom Catering. Boy, that food was good. And I feel like we just met the right person to just ride the rest of this journey with us food-wise, right? And also, big shout out to Kingston 30. Kingston 30 up there and Sugarloaf Mills. Check them out. If you're in the area, just look for Kingston 30. Thank you so much to our sponsors who helped make Saturday happen, and also sponsors of this evening's show. And speaking of sponsors of this evening's show, ladies and gentlemen, there's the Immigration Unpacked series tomorrow, happening on the 30th. And also we have sponsoring this evening the 13th annual Pre-Mother's Day Celebration Banquet. And this takes place on May 6th, 6 p.m. And at the Banquet and Event Halls, CH Banquet and Event Halls at 2767 Windy Hill Road in Marietta, Georgia. I also want to recognize another sponsor, P&P Catering, Sweet Treats. presenting you their Easter buns. You need to order by tomorrow, okay, to receive in time for Easter. And there's their information. You can call or text 980-222-1128. Pick up your orders starting at $28. Shipping orders start at $39.99. So be sure to save that information. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening again. Thank you and welcome to what is going to be the second ever segment of A Salute to Women on the Wayne Hall Show. And I'm going to go over to Zoomland where the ladies are waiting. And, also, so it's 5 awesome ladies, including the host that's going to give us the most, Miss Janice O'Shea. And, okay, grand entrance by Janice. So while Janice is entering, let me introduce just by name right now. We have a lot more information to share, but I'm going to leave that to our great host. We have Miss Georgia Wolf Samuels, Miss Dr. Shanna Grant, Miss Patricia Edigen, Jackal Tucker, and here's your host, ladies and gentlemen, that has even more information on these awesome ladies. So it's my pleasure to introduce today's host with the most and say Happy International Women's Month one more time. Welcome, ladies. It's my pleasure to have you. And I'm now going to have you in the wonderful hands of your host, Miss Janice O'Shea. I almost did just now when Maxine, you saw it, right? Yes, 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 yes.
To you the order and the segments. So let's get there. Patricia Tunge Edigen, born and raised in the beautiful island of Antigua. She migrated to the US in '89. Patricia is the president of the official Atlanta Caribbean Carnival, and this takes place every Memorial Day, the end of May. She has received several awards for her work in the Caribbean community. Among them, an award recently for the International Women's Day, on International Women's Day. Other awards include a Life Achievement Award from the President Joe Biden himself, along with a pin for her philanthropic work in her community. Patricia also received a proclamation award from the City of Atlanta, Black I Am Awards, a Woman Empowerment Award, and a Commendation Award from Governor Kemp. I will leave the rest until you speak to us back, because it's a lot, as everyone here. Dr. Grant, how are you, Shanna?
I'm doing well today. How are you guys doing?
Great. We are fine on behalf of all the ladies. Did I say good evening to your audience, Wayne? If I did, forgive me, I'm repeating it. Dr. Shanna K. Grant, CEO and founder of Sharp Sessions and assistant professor of mathematics. Dr. Grant is an experienced mathematician who helps the students overcome their fear of math by changing the way they think and the way they approach math. She has a passion for helping others build mathematical knowledge, understanding, and skills. She's highly knowledgeable in mathematics and strives to make a positive influence in her community through research, tutoring, and professional talks. Shanna holds a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics, a Master of Science degree and a PhD in math, with a focus in collegiate mathematics education. Dr. Grant, we will get the rest of it later.
Okay.
All right. Now we go to Georgia Wolf Samuel, CPA. Good evening, Georgia.
Good evening. How are you?
Well, thank you. I think all the ladies have been on the platform before, so a special welcome to you, Georgia.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
To the Win All Show platform. Georgia is a career entrepreneur, restaurateur, author, personal branding leadership coach. She provides and delivers results for organization that she works for and shifts how women show up in their working world through the power of their personal brand. Her personal and professional leadership company is the Impact Agency, which empowers actions that drive impact through coaching programs, workshops, live events, speaking, and content. Georgia currently resides in Atlanta, Georgia, and she will tell you much more. And she shows up boldly. That's her tagline, show up boldly. Next, we have Mrs. Tucker herself, Jaquel, the dancer. Jaquel, it was so funny to see you on the dance floor because we don't normally see that. Good evening, Jaquel.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
With this being our second edition of hosting Salute to Women, Jaquel, you are the veteran here because we asked you back. There had to be a reason why you were asked to join again the second time around. Jaquel Tucker, entrepreneur at J Tucker Group. My Purpose on Fire. She will tell us a lot about that later, but it is on fire. Executive Director of the Jamaica Project USA, her personal charity effort, along with her husband, Sean Tucker. So we are gonna start off. Mr. Wayne, is there anything you want to say to us ladies before we jump into this?
Not right now. I'm just enjoying.
Okay, thank you. You had already done the
Yes, we had the sponsors mentioned, and then it's all yours, Miss O'Shea.
All right. The order is gonna be random, ladies.
Okay.
We are starting off with Georgia. Georgia, I'd like to know from you, how do you summarize your upbringing? What stands out to you, and who was your childhood influence?
Thank you for that question, Janice. If I was to summarize my childhood, I would summarize it in one word as challenging, right? Challenging because of the nature of how I grew up and my experiences. So I grew up in Kingston, Jamaica for the first half of my childhood. The second half was in New York in the Boogie Down Bronx, right? Where I went to middle school and high school, graduate from Evander Childs. Didn't know how I survived that school.
Yep.
And for the most part, I lived with my dad. My mother abandoned us when I was about 2 years old, right? The first time I can recall seeing my mom was when she came back to Jamaica. So one of the things that stood out for me is this experience that pretty much defined how I was showing up for a long time, right? And so the first time I can recall like seeing my mom was when she came back to Jamaica to bury her parent in St. Elizabeth. I was around age 5 and I had a brief encounter with her that would shape how I would show up for the next 35 years. Short story, as she was preparing to depart for the airport, I asked her for an antique looking brush and comb set that she was using to comb her hair. And she told me no, quite gently, right? and offered me a travel-sized bottle of Kerry lotion as a replacement. And in that brief moment, I exchanged my identity for the lies that I extracted from that experience, right? Because then, you know, my highly receptive brain interpreted her gesture to mean that I was not worthy, and hence why my mother didn't give me the brush and comb set, and that I was not enough as the reason why she would abandon me again. So this experience created for me a defining belief of who I thought I was. And I adopted a self-defining title that I thought was quite fitting. The name that I titled that version of me was Half Pint, which, you know, was based on a non-metric definition, which meant, you know, small or inconsequential. But of course, I learned this name, I garnered this name really from our own reggae artist, Half Pint. Right? And I learned growing up in Jamaica, I learned that he garnered that name because he was short. And so, you know, society, you kind of labeled him as not of normal height. So then naturally, I adopted that title to mean that I was not whole or enough and therefore not worthy. And so the additional trauma that followed in my formative and early adult years, commingled with the fact that I would never see or hear from my mom again, until I was about 23 years old, cemented that belief and would influence how I showed up in my working world, in my personal relationships, and the crap I would tolerate, right? So thankfully, I was able to reframe that narrative, but not before a series of major disruptions in my life a few years ago. And because of those disruptions, which included career burnout, a TIA, which, you know, also known as a mini stroke, and a few other health scares, I was forced to pause. And so I leaned into my faith during that season. So a combination of faith, therapy, and a whole heap of introspection to just go through that healing process, right? And so a divine intervention with God during that season, we had a conversation one morning and he told me, he says, baby girl, half pint in the world of metrics is equivalent to a full cup, right? Which then meant that I was already enough. So God helped me to turn around that narrative and reframe it. And it became the catalyst that would change the trajectory of my own life. So I could like boldly step into who I am and my own narrative. And not just the narrative from that past experience, but also the narrative that I want to create and that I want to be told about me when I leave this earth.
You turned it around, everything from childhood to now. You turned around for the better. Quite interesting. Thank you, Georgia. Next up with the same question is Patricia. How do you summarize your upbringing? What stands out to you? And who was your childhood influence?
Well, Georgia, I'm so sorry you had to go through all of that. So shout out to you. I know you personally, so shout out to you. So my upbringing was a bit different. I grew up in a loving home with my mom and my dad. My mom, we were very disciplined. She was a strict mom. She was big on education. I remember growing up, my mom worked at the Ministry of Education, and a lot of children in the neighborhood, sometimes they don't pass their exams and they'll come to our home and the parents would be crying and plead with mommy to see what they could do to get their children into secondary school. And I know mommy was always there to help the folks in the neighborhood. I would say my mom was like my biggest influence growing up. I adore her so much. May her soul rest in peace. But I remember growing up, we had a neighbor. My mom was very peaceful. And we had a neighbor, and she wasn't the nicest of neighbors. I remember if we played as children and our ball go over her fence, we would never get back that ball again. Or if we had like a plum tree and the tree branches go over her yard, she will just cut it off. And I remember mommy always said to us, no matter what she does, when you're passing, always say good morning and good afternoon. And I could never understood that. And I said, mommy, I want to be like you, but I don't want to be like that. You're too soft and you let people take advantage of you. So I said, growing up, that's one thing that I'll make sure that no one takes advantage of me. I'll always make sure I stand up for myself.
Yes.
And do what I have to do. And so I put that to my kids. So I would say my mom was my influence growing up. And I can't complain about my childhood, you know. Mommy was all about education. I have a BA in accounting. I have an MBA and in business administration. A lot of people think I only do carnival. And I always say to people, I'm more than carnival, okay? I have 2 degrees, and that's why I can do such a good job with carnival, because I'm a businesswoman.
You're a business.
I currently work in accounting with a major firm. People don't think I work too. So I do work beside carnival. And I work from home. I have a lot of clients that I deal with on a daily basis. And I also started a nonprofit organization during COVID. While I was at home, I saw a lot of persons on Facebook was going through mental challenge, and you know, I would cook and I would post up my food and I would say, hey, inmates, because you know, we all was stuck at home. And I would say, what are you guys cooking today? And I'll put up my pumpkin fritters, and people ask me what's the recipe, and I'll put up different foods. And I said, you know what? At least some of us still have jobs. Right. And I put a post on social media and say, hey, how about some of us come together and start this nonprofit and give back to those in need? It doesn't take much. And so that was the rebirth of Blessed Hands, Generous Hearts, which started in 2020. We have donated to Antigua every year. We go home in July and we give back food, and everything is brand new. Clothes, back to school, and laptops. And those are money that we get, and we get a sponsor. Big up to Snyder Foundation, who's one of our biggest sponsor and help us giving back. And we also give back here in the US. And for the last 2 years, I've traveled to Nigeria and we give back to those in need. This last year, I visited a lot of the different orphanage, and we gave back donations. Some places I was terrified, but my husband was with me, and so we gave back. So I love to give back because, you know, our motto is when we bless others, God bless us.
Yeah, blessed to be blessed. And I can tell you, Pat, I see that standing up for yourself in how you conduct yourself in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, Miss Jaquel. Same questions. Upbringing, what stands out, and your childhood influence.
Well, you know, first of all, it's a privilege being here with you ladies. You know, it's what we've had to overcome, whether it's good or not so good, that shapes who we are right now. And God means for us to use it to help other people. And so I am just elated to hear your stories. And for me, you know, my growing up is, it's a story of resilience. It's a story of purpose. It's a story of prayer. And let's just start with who is my role model and who's really shaped my life. And I would say it's my mom. It's my mom who ran in the house and grabbed my lifeless body when I passed away. I got really sick between 5 and 6 years old. It's the first time in my life I'm really starting to share this publicly, and I did it in the magazine Thrive, in which I was featured in, and prayed over this lifeless body that was laying there, passed away for, I don't know how long, for the day when they had left to go to church and finally came back. And prayer brought me back. Prayer bringing me back means that there is a purpose to my life. And so it took me a while to find it, you know. All I knew was I was now very, very focused. I don't know why, focused in my studies in education. You know, growing up in a rural community in poverty in Jamaica, where, you know, you're standing in a shopkeeper's shop trying to trust some food, whether it's flour or rice, so your parents can cook. I had 8 siblings, and my mom and my dad and my grandparents lived next door. So standing in there and not even having the money to pay for that, you have to trust that. To fast forward in COVID, the worst time in the good old US of A and everywhere else, where so much was lost. And to have the opportunity through my nonprofit, the Jamaica Project USA, founded by my husband, Sean, and I, to be out there with our team and seeing the trucks pull up from the USDA, 18-wheelers full of food, it took me right back to that moment where it's a mission and a journey of purpose. I look at all the cars lined up, the organizations lined up to get food that was provided through God to my organization to feed up to 2,000 families a month. This girl who we couldn't even sometimes afford dinner. And that's the journey. So when I look at it, it's all woven together, and how we grew up, it's a story of resilience. I didn't have a doll growing up. We would pluck grass and wash the roots as hair, and we would tie it with strings together, and that was it. You fast forward to this point where I was granted a full academic scholarship when I left Westwood High School, started COMC, and it started showing me something. Yeah, okay, God brought me back, and it means he had a way for me. So I would say to anybody, it doesn't matter how you started, what it might look like in your situation, whether you're Jamaica or you're in another country, Nigeria, wherever, the countries you visit, Pat, these kids, they have a dream, they have a purpose, and God is the one who's going to orchestrate it. What was on my mind was to study. I didn't know why I was so adamant about studying, and God put that in me because he knew education was going to be my ticket out. And out of thousands in Jamaica, I was one of 20 full academic scholarship to the University of Maine. And that's what I want to show kids. That's what I also want to show adults, your path, and that what he has for you is for you. But the story of resilience, we made a way, we made things happen. We found joy in whatever we were doing. And it was one step forward and one step forward. Whatever you can control, that's what you take control of, and be obedient and do it. And it's God who does the rest. So you take that and you fast forward it. And with the accomplishments I've had in the US, it's just been incredible. And I'll just quickly share this breaking news now on the Wayne Hall Show. I have not shared it publicly, but I actually, so here I was a director of sales and marketing in the hospitality industry. I've worked in markets like New Jersey, New York, Bucket, Atlanta here, and I transitioned to entrepreneurship, right? I've trained hotel sales team, customer service, leadership at conferences for hotels, you name it. And lately I've just been helping entrepreneurs, find out what God's calling them to do and launch a purpose-driven business or a nonprofit. But I recently took on another venture because everything is coming full circle, and that's how God works. And so I just want to share, publicly that my new venture, added to everything else, is I'm the new vice president of sales and marketing. Talk about working with individuals to do this, and a city comes calling. So I am the new VP of sales and marketing for the city of East Point, new convention bureau. So, just an opportunity to really, help to build the identity of that city, to brand it and to take the message to the world, and really help align the actual reality of right now with the vision of where it's going. So I would say that no matter where you're coming from, count the struggles joy, count the challenges joy, because God is going to weave it together for something good. And that's how you're going to impact people.
Oh my goodness. You heard it here first, guys. Before we move to Shanna, congrats, Jaquel. And let me remind our audience, the theme for this year's Women History Month, celebrating women who tell our stories. Emphasis on our, because we can see so far how the stories intertwine and they are just common items among you. Thank you. We will hear more after Shanna comes up. Hey, Shanna, could you summarize your upbringing? What stands out? Your childhood influence, not necessarily in that order. And then we will go to a commercial break. Thank you, Jaquel. Welcome, Shanna.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I usually question and I say, I wonder why they picked me, because when I looked at the lineup, I was like, oh my goodness, Jaquel, I admire you so much. You do so much. You are always for Christ, and I just really admire that in you. And congratulations again. Thank you guys for having me tonight. So for me, my mom and dad were not married, so I grew up with my mom. And what really stands out is we moved around quite a bit, but no matter where we went, education, I think that's kind of what's coming out here, was like the focal thing, right? I was always in school. I always had my shoes, my whatever I needed for shoes, right? Even my dad would say, you will get everything that you need and some of what you want, right? And so anything I needed for education, so I would go to him, I need uniform, I need books, and I would get that, right? But I know for me, what really stuck with me when I grew up throughout my high school childhood in Jamaica, and then moved to the United States, she told me, and it stuck with me to the point where it's even in my dissertation. She said, you want to make sure you go to school and get a good education so you don't have to depend on anyone. And for me, I took it literally, right? So when I came to the United States and I saw all the opportunities, I took advantage of all of it. And so, what that kind of did for me was I saw that there were a lot of opportunities, but sometimes students are not aware of it. And so initially, math is my strong suit. For some reason, I just excel at it. I love numbers. And so I was good at it. But essentially, I wanted to be an accountant of some sort. But God has a way of telling you that's not what you're going to do. So, I had to take a detour when I was in my graduate studies, maybe 2 detours, because I was really trying to do my own thing. And then I was kind of directed to the education space. It's interesting when you tell anyone that you're a mathematician or you're majoring in mathematics, they say, oh, you're going to be a teacher. And so I tried very hard to steer away from that, right? So at any rate, I ended up in teaching, but now I kind of see why, right? I have a passion for serving students and for educating students, right? Because, I think I made a post about this when I announced my new book, a toolkit for raising wealthy kids. So, a lot of times students and parents don't really know what is available to them in terms of how to get your education debt-free and how to really build wealth and those type of things. And so I'm seeing where now my goals are shifting a little bit in that area, where in my business, I am working to help students go to college debt-free through SAT prep. I recently got a grant from the NSF, $1.4 million, to give scholarships so that students can come to my university debt-free, right? And then now I'm writing this book that is helping parents educate their kids on how to build wealth. And it's also educating parents, right? Because sometimes I was telling a friend, if I knew I think if my mom and dad knew what I was putting in the book, nobody would know me because I would be wealthy already. And so God works in his own way, because he knew I probably wouldn't be here. So, but I just find it so fascinating. And so every time I hear something new, I want to share it and say, hey, you can do it too. One thing that really influenced me when I was in high school, my teacher, I was very smart, but I was also very fast or quick at the mouth, if you may say. And so Miss David, she pulled me to the side one day and she said, your attitude will determine your altitude.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, when they say that cut you down, that cut me down, but it was good. Right? Because what that showed me is you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't have the right attitude, you not get where you need to be. And, it goes to what I do too with the mindset that you have, right? If you have a mindset that you can do something, right, then you're gonna do it. But if you tell yourself that this is not for me, I cannot do it, then you will not accomplish it. And so again, in my tutoring services or in anything that I do, like my book, the first chapter is how to get a mindset to build wealth, or how to get a mindset to overcome and get a great grade on the SAT so you can go debt free. So all of this is intertwined to say, I'm very passionate about serving students and, helping them to get their degrees debt free, or to help parents to help their students or their children to, go to college debt free. And I don't know, but God is working and I'm just following where he's taking me.
Shanna, the common denominator here with all you ladies, and you have repeated it over and over: prayer and God. And you said you wondered why Wayne and I selected you among our very esteemed specialists. And I think the audience and the other panelists, you have all answered that question. It's a process, it's a formula that we both use. And we don't even have to say why you were selected. Okay, so that was wonderful. The fact that you brought up, which most of our Caribbean parents, as we know, when it comes to education, it's like there's no other way to go, So I really do appreciate that. Ladies, you will have a break. You'll get a break. Mr. Hall is taking us to commercial to pay the bills, and we'll be right back. You can do your touch-up, get your water. We'll be back.
Mikey Sparkle Production presents the Atlantic Caribbean Family Fun Day 2023, featuring reggae mega superstars Mikey Spice and Richie Stevens.
I've got a weakness for sweet.
Backed by the SWAT Band. Father's Day, June 18. Lithonia Amphitheater, 2515 Park Drive, Lithonia, Georgia, 30058. Sound by First Love. Steely Bashment, DJ Cold Rice, Bugsy Bam Bam, Rico Vibes, John Wayne, DJ Bree Bree, all on the ones and twos. MC Oliver Samuels, Jamaica's King of Comedy, and Oliver Mayer, Consul General. Also featuring Chub Rock and the Weekend Warriors. Bring your chairs and umbrellas to this family event. 18 and under free. Adults 50 pre-sold. More at the gate. Visit Mikey Sparkle online for tickets. Sponsors: Foundation Radio, T-Rob Network, Wayne Hall Show, Island Vibes TV, RockTheBox.net, 25th Century Radio, Golden Crust, Irie Zion FM, and The Flavor Radio, a Mikey Sparkle production.
What the world needs now is more than a vacation. We need to come back to feeling our best selves again. Back to inviting. Back to caring. Back to life. Back to the little bit of Jamaica that's inside all of us. Come back to being lively again. Back to laid back. Back to romantic. Back to fantastic. Come back to making the best decisions you've ever made. Because, hey, we're in Jamaica. Come back to mouth-watering, heart-pumping, breathtaking. It's time, don't you think? Come back to the vibe that comes alive in Jamaica.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching, you are listening to Saluting Women 2023 with your host, Miss Janice O'Shea, and her awesome panel of women. What an interesting first segment. I heard survival. I heard the desire to be strong. I heard resilience. I heard prayer. And I also heard that if you don't have the right attitude, you won't get to the right altitude. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to return to the conversation with your host, Miss Janice O'Shea. You're good to go, Janice.
Good to go. Yes. Welcome back, ladies. Our next segment start off with this topic. I would like for you to share exactly what you do for a living. I know you have all touched on that somewhat, but we would just like it repeated or add to what you had. And for those who are just joining us on all the Wayne Hall Show platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and WayneHallShow.com, welcome. You are watching and listening to Salute to Women on the Wayne Hall Show. So ladies, any obstacles that is facing women today, that you think is facing women today, and how marginalized are women in 2023? We are starting with Patricia.
Okay. So as I stated before, I currently work in accounting. I work with a major firm. I usually don't tell what company I work for. I always keep my company private. I do sales and use tax for a lot of clients from all over. So currently I have about 30 clients. What I do is import their data and do their sales and use tax, and we file their taxes like monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annual. And we also have a department that does their notices. So I'm a lot of the point of contact for the clients. So that's what I do on a daily basis. Plus, I'm the president of Atlanta Carnival. I'm the president of Blessed Hands, Generous Hearts, a nonprofit organization. I think the biggest obstacles that are facing women are gender gap, the pay. We're not being paid enough as men. And that has always been a problem for years. It doesn't matter how smart you are or how much you put yourself out there, men always seems to get the highest pay. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that are facing women. As far as I think marginalized, I think maybe inferiority. You know, it's like we're less inferior to men. Like, for example, big shots out to Kamala Harris for even becoming the VP of the United States. Once upon a time, they don't even want women to become VP. They don't even want women to become president because they feel like we're too emotional. So we work with our emotions, you know? And so I think that's one of the things that they have to put aside. Yes, women can be emotional, but at the same time, we have proven that we can do the job that men do. You're on mute.
Unmute, Janice.
Thanks, Pat. Yes, what you just said, and you using Kamala Harris as your reference, I thought of that while you were speaking. So we are gonna, thanks, Pat. We are moving over to Georgia with the same questions: what you do, any obstacles you view facing women today, and how marginalized are women for 2023.
Awesome. Thank you for that question, Janice. So I'm a CPA by trade for the last 20 plus years, working in Big Four. I am a senior manager at this level. I just transitioned out of public accounting and more so into internal audit within Big Four. And so I'm also a restaurateur. I'm owner alongside my husband of the Escoviches brand, which includes the Escoviches restaurant and the Escoviches event center. Going into our 4th year now. I am also an author. My latest book is titled Redefining Her, My Journey to Self-Acceptance and Love. And I'm working on another one that I'm hoping to finalize before the end of the year, hopefully. And this one is more focused and geared towards career women. I'm also the founder of the Impact Agency, where I serve career women as a personal branding and career coach to help them transform from hidden gems in their organizations to bold brands that empowers them to propel their potential, their impact, and their income in and but beyond their careers. In terms of if women are still marginalized, I think we have come a long way as it relates to initiatives geared at creating equity for women, but I still think we have a long way to go, right? Yes, you know, I second what Patricia said in terms of gaps as it relates to equal pay, but also gaps as it relates to opportunities that propels us, right? And so as there are ongoing DEI initiatives in many organizations around the globe, I think it's important that as women, we are equipped to move beyond our lids and boldly prepare ourselves to step into or create the spaces that we were born to occupy. And I think that responsibility is on us. So yes, it's important that we have allies in our organizations and around us, but I also think it's very important for us to take responsibility for our own brand and to prepare ourselves to occupy those spaces or create those spaces.
I like the title of your book, Georgia, Redefining Her.
Thank
and
you.
when I got your bio, I said, I thought impact was an acronym.
It is.
It is. So when I listen carefully now, I know what exactly you mean, EMPACT.
Yeah, EMPACT. So it's
EMPACT, right?
Correct. So it's empowering actions. So it's more than, and the back meaning, so it's actually like in the Urban Dictionary. And it's actually more, you teach someone not only how to fish, but empower them with the possibilities to do beyond what I myself or they had ever imagined.
Okay. Thanks for breaking that down. Thanks,
You're
Georgia.
welcome.
Shanna, you're up next.
Yes. So in terms of what I do, again, I help students overcome their fear of math by changing the way they think and approach mathematics. And one of the things that I really focus on is what we call the growth mindset. And so if a student has the growth mindset, that means they believe that they can learn abilities and then grow to get better, right? So for instance, if you go to an interview, you may hear, do you believe a leader is born or a leader is made, right? Someone with a growth mindset would say a leader is made because someone can learn the traits of a leader and then, grow to become that. So what we do is we try to make sure that any service that we provide, whether it's professional development to train teachers how to teach math, whether it's tutoring, SAT prep, or even in our financial literacy book that's coming out, we always try to help anyone who is being serviced how to think and train them how to cultivate a growth mindset. So that's my, I guess you could say my side hustle, you could say. So my main job, I guess you could say, is I'm also a professor. And I can tell my university, Fort Valley State University, we're the #1 HBCU in Georgia. And so essentially, I am the director of the DMACS, and this is Driving Math Competency Through STEM Modeling. This is a scholarship for students who are interested in pursuing mathematics or math and computer science, and they'll get a full scholarship. And so it was very interesting how I got this grant. I am the youngest at the university to get something like this. The only one to ever get it in the department. I don't even know how I got it, but I know it's God. Maybe I should just say, I know how I got it, God, because honestly, I don't even know what I wrote in that thing. But in my space, what I do is I use my experience to help students get better and get better opportunities. And so that's what I do in general. Now, in terms of challenges, I'll speak from a personal standpoint. So in mathematics, dependent on where you go, women are definitely seen as less than, right? Where are we going? Especially if you're a Black woman, what are you doing, right? I graduated Fort Valley, and then I went straight into a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution. And I remember the first professor, the first thing he said in his class was, "I'm known to give good grades, but I have tenure now." And I go, okay, great. So for those of us who don't know, tenure means it's less likely for you to be fired, or it's a very hard process. So it's like you're safe now as a professor.
Yeah.
And this same person would have, if a female student goes to him, they would come out of his office crying. He was very nasty, but he was just showing us that women are what he thinks, right? Women shouldn't be in this space. And honestly, when I was in the classroom, it was just me. right? And so, you know, I look at it and I say, well, I have to be that example for others to see, right? Because I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I got kicked out of the program and I had to divert and do a master's before the PhD, and then I went back to the PhD. And, you know, in the midst of that, I said, well, I can't give up, because then that will prove that, well, we don't belong in this space. And even though it was very challenging for me, you know, it meant a lot, especially, you know, trying to, you know, if you tell me I can't do something, or you try to show me that I'm less, I show you the opposite, right? And so in terms of being marginalized, I think we've come a long way. I'll echo what Georgia said. We've come a long way, and it's very commendable. You know, the glass ceilings are being broken. You know, we're having first female CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. I think we're going to have the first female president sometime soon, right? But I think we still have a long way to go. And, you know, I think it will start with us blending together, pulling resources together to pull each other up. You know, instead of looking at ourselves as competition and those type of things, I think it's important that we mesh together, use our resources so we can get stronger and, you know, be recognized for who and what we are.
I think we lost our wonderful host, so I'm the next one to go. So I'll just dive into it, and hopefully we'll get her back on soon.
That's right. Go ahead.
Yes. So in answering that question, I certainly echo what you ladies have said. You know, we've come a long way. When I go back and look at my mom's days, and as we talk about all the time, the shoulders that we can now stand on. You know, my mom never had like a high school education, but it didn't stop her from doing what she needed to do with her life, because she found her purpose. She found her lane, even from back then. So, you know, I would say as far as how I help people, you know, I like to see people find their purpose and maximize this purpose, this passion, this potential. And that translates in everything that I do. And, you know, I do that through, you know, even with having a nonprofit. You know, I found out with my husband, Sean, the Jamaica Project USA, and our mission is to transform rural schools and communities in Jamaica, started in 2016. And we've served, you know, local communities here in Georgia as well with resources, low income communities. But we served over 22 schools and communities in Jamaica, 8 improvement projects. We've sponsored 79 kids. And so now we're actually starting our largest project this year is construction of our first rural community and resource center. And in business, I'm the same way. In hospitality, as a director of sales and marketing, I was the same way. It's really spotting people's potential and helping them to grow in their position. You know, if I'm leading them, then I want them to grow and advance, and never being afraid to teach people what I know, because they need to grow and advance into their fullest potential. And if I have a problem with that, it means that's because I am not advancing in my fullest potential. So as women, what I will say is we have to carefully look at that. I know that there are a lot more opportunities now created for women. And also we're now in a culture and space where we can create opportunities for others, but we've got to be bold and brave enough to recognize what that is, learn what it is, and get into that lane, launch this thing, and realize we're called for more significance than where we currently are. So we have to realize that we can create our seat at the table. But even in that corporate space, right, how many women have gotten a seat at the table, and what was done with that seat of the table? Do we remember then what we've had to overcome, the struggles that we've had, and who now are we going to reach back and help? How are we going to affect change when we get that opportunity to be at the table? And so these are things to carefully consider. You know, have a plan for when those opportunities come, because the younger generation is depending on us as well. And we've got to realize that we are empowered. We are called, we're equipped, we are qualified. And the more we start believing in that, the more that we're going to exert this confidence when we go up for these positions against men. And, you know, we've talked about this before, even on this platform, where a man will go for a job and he doesn't know a thing about the job. They offer it to him and he says, yes, sure, I'm going to do it. I could do it. And a woman's like, hold on, let me go get this degree and that degree. Or we're the ones who start feeling like we're not qualified, right? And so that presents a challenge for us. So we sometimes have to step forward. We don't know it all, but just know enough of what we're qualified to do and be prepared to push through the hard things when we get those opportunities and learn, because others are dependent on it. So we've come a long way. We're still continuing to move forward, but our goal is to really impact change when we're given these opportunities to do so, find our lane. And that's where some of this comes from. We are in spaces and areas where we're tolerated, not celebrated, because sometimes that's not where we need to be. And so when we can find that, then we can confidently move forward and really thrive in the areas that we were born to. So like you all said as well, a lot of this also does rest with us. And so this is how we've got to help our younger generations. And I know Dr. Grant works with a lot of, you know, students and then doing, you know, your summer initiatives as well. And I know these are things that you are imparting into these young girls. And so we need a lot more of us to do that. And the same way our family or parents or moms sacrificed a lot for us and they had to struggle. I'm not going to say it's that much easier for us, but opportunities are now more available to us. And so we've got to keep passing that on for the next generation so it gets better and better.
Jaquel, thank you for that. I apologize for the glitch, but you touched on something where I broke when Shanna spoke about her experience, that particular challenge. And then you came in with the seat at the table. And I can say we all have some experience as far as that particular challenge goes, Jaquel. And you were on the same order when you spoke about having a seat at the table. We are going to take a brief commercial break, Mr. Hall, or are we continuing?
Actually, we're not in lieu of time. And
Right.
we're going to ask our awesome panelists to keep it at 5 minutes for this final segment. And I'm just enjoying looking at Jenny's nice shirt, by the way.
When I knew that would come up at some point. So moving right along, ladies, we're going to omit the break as you had in the order. So let us start off with Georgia. And this one, looking ahead, ladies, women are holding more positions of power. Do you feel like women are poised for a takeover? That can be controversial, but it's gonna heat up. It's gonna be interesting. Explain, and what are you most proud and hopeful for women as a whole moving forward?
Thank you, Janice. I think women have always been powerful. We just didn't know our power, right? The problem is that many times society or our own experiences may have conditioned us to believe otherwise. I don't think the goal is for women to take over. That's just my, my thought process. But what I do think is that God is doing a mighty work and movement through women, and that our gifts are needed to move the world forward. And so for that to be possible, we must boldly own our power and step into the purpose for which we were created. So whether it's a solo calling or one where we stand next to our partners, either way, we are poised to own and operate in power. And so my focus is not necessarily that we are poised to take over. It's that we are poised to own our power and to step into the spaces that we were born to occupy and even sometimes create. And so I'm hopeful, right, that for women, my hope for women overall is that they recognize their own significance, because when we value what we carry and embrace our own significance, we are then equipped to not just thrive, but to make an impact in the world around us and to move us forward.
I like that, Georgia. Own our power.
Yes, we have it. Own it.
Point well taken. Patricia.
For me personally, I think respect. I think women need to be respected. For example, even during carnival, I get fight down so much, and it's mostly from men. And like Jaquil said, we need a seat at the table. We do. As Caribbean women, I think we need to get more involved in politics. I would have, but I remember before I got married, my husband asked me to promise him one thing: never to get involved in politics. So I made that promise, so now I can't go back at it. But the stuff that I have to go through, just doing carnival alone, I would have gotten involved in politics. As women, and we are the voice, and as a woman, doing something like carnival is something that the position that men mostly hold. So as a woman, I don't feel that I get the respect as if I was a guy. So my fight is different. So I have to go harder and work harder, even just to get before the mayor, the stuff that I have to do. But I'm one that don't back down. Like, for example, last week I had a little meltdown and I called a friend of mine, and, you know, she spoke with me and she said, listen, as women, you have your right. And guess what? Fight back. So that's what I did. I fought back. So I think we just need to be respected overall. You know, we have a brain just like anybody. I think we need to empower each other too and stop the bickering, the hate, and, you know, and just respect and loving each other and empower each other. Just like Jaquil say, you know, if you're a leader, you empower the next person. You don't want to, you know, say, okay, I'm not going to train this person because they're going to be, you know, they're going to get the higher position than I am. Let me tell you, what God had for us, nobody could take from us. Because remember, when he breathed life into us, he already know what we're going to do. Okay? I'm telling you, I got into a car accident 5 minutes away from my home. I don't know what happened. It was just raining that night. And the next thing I remember saying, oh, Lord. And when I got through, a car jumped the median and hit me head on. And they got more damage than I did. My left hand was damaged, but thank God it's much better now. But, you know, certain things I can't lift with my left hand. And then I said, that was God. He has a purpose for me. And I always said, God, show me my purpose. Then last year, I was driving with my girls and I was going to this event and I didn't really want to go. And I asked my girls to come with me. And sometimes you got to follow your spirit. And I said to my girls, come and hang out with mommy. They didn't really want to go either. And I forced them to come with me. And when we were driving, it was raining. It was pouring that Saturday. And next thing, the tires skid and we went right into a tree and hit the tree head on. And I had my 2 daughters with me. And God took us out of that. And I said, listen, God has a purpose for me. So whatever it is, I'm here to do it. So thanks for having me. Appreciate all of you.
Sure does. Pat, I do have a quick question before you go. On the matter of whether you think women are poised to lead more, let me say it like that. Can I get a brief?
Sure, we're poised to lead, but we're born leaders. We are born leaders. We're born with that, and we could lead. It's just the fight that we get, but we can lead. And one day it's going to happen. And we're going to be presidents. We're going to be CEOs. Right now, women are CEOs. They own. The other day, I was looking at this woman that owned a trucking company. Another lady from the Bahamas. She owned a lot of airlines. So women are poised to lead. We're born leaders. So yes, we'll be leading. One day we will.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so happy that you got out of all of that with those 2 wrecks. We are now going, thank you, Patricia. We are now going to Shanna.
Unmute.
Yes. Well, you know, I think we're already the backbone, right? Because think about it, you know, the husbands come to us, the brothers come to us. So we're already taking over. We are just in the background now. But we're coming out to the forefront at this point, right? We're getting a voice, we're getting more confidence, and those type of things. And what I would say, or what I would add to what was said previously, is you're seeing now a lot of organizations that are coming together to make space for us, or to make room, as you would say, for us. And these are women who are some are women forming this organization. I guess some are men as well. For instance, there are grants out there to help entrepreneur women in business. You have different programs that are set up for women who are, interested in going into business. And so I think, I don't know that we want to take over. I think we just want to be seen for who we are, and we want to be respected for who we are. And so I think, based on where we are, what the progress we've made thus far, what I would love, or what I'm hopeful for, is that, I think Jaquel said it, and it was said earlier, that we don't brew this thing called jealousy, right? Because we're all after the same thing when you think about it. We're all after the respect. We're all after the equity, the equal pay, these things, right? And so what I'm hopeful for is that we will continue to mention each other's name in rooms that we may not even step into, right? If you know of somebody who can do a job that is, being sought for, mention that person's name, right? And, bring each other up, bind together, and let's, I guess, take over.
There you go. Dr. Grant and the Grants. Thank you, Shannon. Jaquel is up next.
Okay, so what Georgia said, what Patricia said, what Shana said, yes. So absolutely. As far as the poised to lead more, or the takeover, I would say, yes, I agree that we have always been leading, women lead in the home, and it's just in other spaces is to be seen as qualified to take on that. Sometimes we are our worst enemies as women. And, I am just going to be blunt about it. When I see some situations and we feel that women do not get respect, or they're treated a certain way, or they're not taken seriously, or they can't seem to advance, it's because we are doing that to each other too. Right. So a guy will say, well, that's what y'all do to each other anyway. Right. So until we also start collaborating more and celebrating each other more, and so they can see that as well, and start looking at women differently. And that's just a part of it. And the rest of it is based on how it's just been in society. But things are changing. It's just usually that's what it was. Back in the day, when I was growing up, most of the women were, housewives taking care of the kids while the man was farming or whatever. That's how it was in Jamaica. Sometimes my mom would go with my dad, but for the most part is needing to take care of the kids. And so that now translates into now how many years later, but instead of farmers, men are CEOs of companies and all of that. And so it's the mindset change that means that women can come out. Women can come out and be CEOs too, and that is changing. So we will continue to see more and more of that, and owning our positions when we are in them, and actually just making sure that we are giving others opportunities. And so we have a chance to create opportunities, and we should always be looking for that, because we are the change makers. The same changes we make in the house, as much passion and vision and focus as we, to change the furniture and the drapes. Listen, when we get in the workplace, let's look to impact change, because we can be drivers of change. All right. And so that's what I would conclude with. It's platforms like this that gives us a voice, so thank you to the Wayne Hall Show. And, having you lead, Janice, having you lead something like this just shows like how well we can get together and have these conversations, and really great initiatives and actions and encouragement and all the things, inspiration can come out of it to inspire the next generation. And the men who are watching, Because we never want men to feel like, oh, we're the bad guys, because honestly, they're really good men. And we're seeking to be good partners with them because together we can do a lot more.
Amazing, Jaquel. Thanks for that leading into our wrap up. And I am taking away always leading, the backbone, respect, own our power. And as we wrap this segment, our part 2 of Salute to Women on the Wayne Hall Show, I'd like to give an opportunity for the other 3 ladies to just say your final piece. Patricia?
I just want to say thank you and the Wayne Hall Show for thinking of me and joining this panel. And thanks to the other ladies on this panel. It was a great segment. And Georgia, I'm coming for my chicken pasta. Thank you guys so much.
Georgia, you're next.
Janice, I'm sorry, Janice. Patricia, you're talking about pasta. I want to taste that pumpkin fritters. I have it written down here, so I'm holding you to it. Anyhow, I want to say thank you to the Wayne Hall Show. Thank you, Janice. Thank you to all the other ladies on this panel. I really enjoyed hearing your stories. Very inspirational. And I just want to thank Wayne for creating this platform for us to really be able to tell our stories and just pretty much bringing the Caribbean to the forefront and keeping us live and keeping us going. So definitely thank you. And thank you, Janice, for hosting as well.
It's my pleasure. Shanna?
Yes, I echo the same sentiments. Thank you for even thinking of me. I feel really honored to even be here to share my story. I think it's always a blessing because sometimes sharing your story can encourage somebody else who may be watching, who may be going through something or a challenge or something, or may even doubt themselves to see that there are other persons out here who have overcome what you are going through currently. And we can also be a resource. So I'm always open if there's anybody who needs, whether it's in general, in personal life space or in the education space, in the financial literacy space, I'm very open to help. That's one thing that I always want to say. So if anybody reaches out for my contact information, feel free to share that with them. Again, thank you guys so much for having me. It was really a pleasure.
We will be happy to share the information of all 4 of you ladies. We are so happy that you accepted the invitation. We do apologize for the short notice, but as Wayne told us earlier, last Saturday was the reason. So, but we are so happy to have you. Back to you, Wayne.
All right. Well, wow. You know, it's just humbling listening to these women. I want to thank you, women, for coming to share your stories on our platform. You know, this medium, this is exactly what it's about. It's called, it's slogan, motto, however you describe it, is where information meets music. And we had that before you came on, the music, and you surely has shared some invaluable stuff with us. My takeaway is the strength, the survival, you know, the spiritual depth, and also the resilience, and very important, the determination I heard that ran through this conversation tonight. So I am truly honored and blessed that you took time to grace our platform with what you've brought this evening. It's very substantive. I hope the audience, and I know they will, appreciate where you came from and what you delivered tonight. And again, happy International Women's Month. As it winds down, continue to blaze a path that, you know what, will just make it easier and better for both men and women to follow. Thank you, ladies. Janice, thank you for being an awesome host as usual. Ladies, thank you for sharing your stories. It's been our pleasure here at the Wayne Hall Show. You have a great rest of your evening.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A great conversation to wrap up International Women's Month. Before we get out of here, I want to share some information on the screen. All right. This conversation was brought to you by P&P Catering Sweet Treats Easter Bun. Order by March 30. That's tomorrow to receive in time for Easter. Their spice buns are made to order, so they're fresh, moist, and delicious. Order online at panpcatering.com. panpcatering.company.site. That's panpcatering.company.site. Or call 980-222-1128. All right? That's right. And then we have some other information we want to share with you. Tomorrow, immigration, this is JAICC presents Unpack Series 1, Immigration. And it takes place tomorrow at 8 p.m. because tomorrow's the 30th. That's right. So it takes place tomorrow at 8 p.m. featuring Safia Byers, ESQ Immigration. All right, Esquire. Safia Byers will be presenting. And we just talked about Sweet Treats, so we're going to go on down to Sister Cities in the city. It's going to be the Atlanta Montego Bay Sister Cities, cordially inviting you to their spring luncheon. Proceeds to benefit the Vin Martin Memorial Health Mission on April 1. That's this Saturday from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. at the Atlanta City Hall Atrium, 55 Trinity Avenue, Southwest Atlanta. It is a sold-out event. All right, next we have the Charity Awards Gala, Help for Healthcare Professionals, Inc., bringing you their Charity Awards Gala, a night of glam and gratitude. So join us to recognize exceptional healthcare workers. And this, too, is on Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Atlanta Marriott Northeast Emory area, 2000 Century Boulevard, Northeast Atlanta. Is that the Century Marriott? I think that's what it might be. But the Charity Awards Gala, ladies and gentlemen, it's 6 p.m. this Saturday. And there'll be live performances, dinner, music by New York City's own Road International DJ Biggs. All right, for more, you go to helpforhealthcareprofessionals.org. We continue with another great upcoming event. It's the Atlanta Caribbean Carnival, their 36th annual press conference. It takes place on the 15th of April, and it's going to be at the Westin Hotel, 210 Peachtree Street, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia. And it starts at, let me see, the starting time. Well, let's see, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it's going to be from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And they're honoring Lashley Motto, Lashley Motto Winter. He's their Grand Marshal this year. Live performance by Kenny Blessing, Jinx, and DJ Nene. And also host Lador Milter. And guest speaker will be the one and only Donna McLeod. All right, so save that date. All right, next we have the 13th annual Pre-Mother's Day Celebration Banquet. This takes place on May 6th at 6 p.m. and it's going to go down over in, that seems to be Windy Hill, Marietta. So it's 2767 Windy Hill Road in Marietta. Tickets pre-sold $55, at the door $60. It's a dinner, dance, fun, and laughter. And we have, I see we have Miss Katie on the flyer, Richard Shaw Jr., DJ Christos, we have Lady DePaul, and Jacqueline Young will be there. And ladies and gentlemen, also Rudolph and the Minister Sharon Robinson. So this is a good one. Event link planner, 13th annual Pre-Mother's Day Celebration Banquet happening on May 6th at 6 p.m. at CH Banquet Hall and event halls at 2767 Windy Hill Road, Southeast Marietta. Then we jump into more May events. Youth Business Fest that takes place on the 13th of May, and it's going to happen at the Rhodes Jordan Park, 100 East Krogan Street in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Live music and game show, win a Mother's Day gift basket, family fun featuring youth entrepreneurs from USA and abroad. More info at culturalshoppingconnections.com, or you can call 678-466-0422. That's the Youth Business Fund Fest, May 13, 2023. Parade begins at 10 a.m. Mother's Day weekend. We jump from there over to Atlanta Carnival 2023. It's going to happen on May 27th. It's going to be hosted by the one and only, the singing MC Wasi. It's going to be at the West Side Park. That's a new venue. The West Side Park, 1660 Johnson Road, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia. This year's lineup includes Pompa, Motto, Lil Rick, Burning Flames, Farmer Nappy, Asha Banton, Skinny Fabulous, Shell Marshall, Jeeve, Kenny Blessing, Janine, Allison Hines, DJ Kim, Squid, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, save that date, May 27. Don't be late, 10 to 11 p.m. Be sure to check out this year's Atlanta Caribbean Carnival. All right, and we're going to go down. I think I got one more to share with you, and that's the Clarendon College Past Students Association Atlanta Chapter Memorial Day Weekend Celebration Meet and Greet, Friday, May 26, 2023, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. at the Marriott Atlanta 2000 Century Boulevard Northeast. And then the annual ball is Saturday, May 27th, 6:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. Marriott Atlanta Northeast. Tickets are $105. The annual picnic takes place on Sunday, May 28th, 1 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Shorty Howell Park, 2750 Pleasant Hill Road, Duluth, in the large pavilion. For more information, call 954-292-3816. That's 9. The awesomeness of these women we shared, and you're inspired to continue to do the greatness that you do in your space, in your time, in your way, with the blessings of the man above. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I say live and let love. Don't forget, the only way to start is by digging a hole, and always look around for something. Always try to find something in this world that you can encourage, praise, and just help to develop. All right? And remember, be grateful. Thank you for listening and watching the Wayne Hall Show. All right? It's where I make my way this evening, and I say, what a wonderful show we've had. All right? Wonderful indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Until next time. See you.
Whoa!